Welcome to a time before the contamination of Eden. A time when all existed within the light and love of God. A time without predation. A time when no living creature needed to be killed for another to eat. Clothes could be made from wool and animal skins could be used after the animal had died a natural death. Cows could happily give milk and chickens' eggs were provided without a threat to their demise. Bees produce honey which is shared by others. Fruits and vegetables are plentiful, and there is no need to fight. There are no predators before the contamination of Eden by Lucifer, Lilith, and the 300 fallen angels. And God created the great whales and every living and moving creature which the waters brought forth, according to their kinds, and every winged fowl according to its kind. And God saw that it was good. And he blessed them, saying, Increase and multiply, and fill the waters of the sea, and let the animals and birds be multiplied upon the earth. And God said, Let the earth bring forth the living creatures in its kind, cattle and creeping things and beasts of the earth according to their kinds. And it was done. And God made the beasts of the earth according to their kinds, and cattle and everything that creepeth upon the earth after its kind. And God saw that it was good. Time is different in the spiritual dimension. 7 generations are described as 7 days on earth. And God said, I will make woman and man in my image and likeness, and let them have dominion over the fishes of the sea and the fowls of the air and the beasts and the whole earth and every creeping creature that moveth upon the earth. And God created woman and man from a reflection of his own image. To the image of God he created female and male. And woman and man existed in spirit and had not yet eaten from the tree of life, which would complete their material incarnation onto earth. The world which God had created was controlled by a matrix, computer, an electronic device containing preset data. God's invisible matrix consisted of a fine materially charged substance which permeates all material objects on earth, from a single blade of grass up to elephants and whales. God gave Adam and Eve etheric bodies made from this materially charged substance called ectoplasm. Adam and Eve now had the ability to frequent the earth in their etheric bodies and experience its wonders and beauty, in preparation for their complete incarnation into materiality, when they would become part of the material world through metamorphosis. And God appointed watchers whom began to make ready Adam and Eve for material incarnation by teaching them about life on the material earth. And God said, Behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed upon the earth, and all trees that have in themselves seeds and fruits of their own kind, to be your food. You will rule with love over the fishes of the sea, the fowls of the air, and all living creatures that move upon the earth, and all will eat from the vegetation of earth. And to all the beasts of the earth, and every fowl of the air, and to all that move upon the earth, and wherein there is life, that they may have to feed upon it. So it was done. And God saw that all things that he had made were good. And the Lord God brought forth of the ground all manner of trees, fair to behold and pleasant to eat of. And the tree of life was also in the midst of paradise, and also the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. And God commanded Adam and Eve, saying, of every tree of paradise thou shalt eat, but of the tree of life and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil thou shalt not eat. For in what day thou shalt eat of them, thou shalt also begin to die and know death. The goat-foot God, material incarnation of the fallen angels. 1/3 of the angels, approximately 200 of the watchers, were also designated to watch over Eden, were tempted by Lucifer and Lilith, and became their followers, the first political conscripts. The fallen angels had a diversity of skills, such as weaponry, beautification, and sciences such as genetic engineering, which they used to change and contaminate Eden, God's creation. While at war with the angels of light, the purity and innocence of Eden becomes contaminated from tiny insects, fishes in the water, and land animals and birds. Many become predators and begin to kill and eat each other. The fallen angels breed with animals to become incarnate physically on earth. Creatures become predators, and Adam and Eve are genetically cloned and become carnivore. After breeding with the fallen angels, the Nephilim are born, giants and creatures from which many tales of old were told. The seduction of Adam and Eve by the fallen angels. And Satan and Lilith seduced Adam and Eve. Why hath God commanded you that you should not eat of every tree from paradise? And Adam and Eve answered them, saying, of the fruit of the trees that are in paradise we do eat, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of paradise, God hath commanded us that we do not eat, and that we should not touch it, lest perhaps we die. And Lilith and Lucifer told Adam and Eve, no, you shall not die the death. You will live and be reborn. For God knows that in what day soever you shall eat thereof, your eyes shall be opened, and you shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. The Garden of Pomegranates. And Lilith seduced Adam, and Lucifer seduced Eve. And they led the two into paradise and into the Garden of Pomegranates, where the tree of life and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil existed. Lucifer and Lilith gave them seeds from the tree of life. Eve was given the seed from Lucifer, the apple representing the womb, and the seeds the ova. And Adam was given many seeds from Lilith, the pomegranate representing the many sperm in man. By choosing to ignore the commands of God, they also ate from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Adam and Eve experienced lust and desire and did succumb to possession. Adam and Eve passed through metamorphosis and became incarnate on earth, and were familiar with the fallen angels. The fallen angels told Adam and Eve to increase and multiply and fill the earth and subdue it. You have taken life, which we have given you. Now you must also know death and learn to kill. For you have swallowed evil and have become possessed by evil. Your existence will be within the ambivalence of war and the conflict between good and evil. Shadows at the end of the light. God confronts Lucifer. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, angel of light, who didst rise in the morning? How art thou fallen to the earth? Thou declared in thy heart, you will descend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars. I will sit in the mountain of the covenant. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be the Most High. They that shall see thee shall turn toward thee, and behold, there is this the man that troubled the earth and shook kingdoms. But yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, into the depth of the pit. Thou hast been in Eden, the garden of God. Every precious stone was thy covering, the sardius, topaz, diamond, beryl, onyx, jasper, sapphire, emerald, and the carbuncle and gold. The workmanship of thy songs and thy pipes was prepared in thee in the day that thou wast created. Thou art the anointed cherub that covereth, and I have set thee so. Thou wast upon the holy mountain of God. Thou hast walked up and down in the midst of the stones of fire. Thou wast perfect in thy ways, from the day that thou wast created, till iniquity was found in thee. By the multitude of thy merchandise, I have filled the midst of thee with violence, and thou hast sinned. Therefore I will cast thee as profane out of the mountain of God, and will destroy thee. O covering cherub from the midst of the stones of fire, thine heart was lifted up because of thy beauty. Thou hast corrupted thy wisdom. By reason of thy brightness, I will cast thee to the ground. I will lay thee before kings that they may behold thee. Thou hast defiled thy sanctuaries by the multitude of thine iniquities, by the iniquity of thy greed. Therefore I will bring a fire from the midst of thee. It shall devour thee, and I will bring thee to ashes upon the earth in the sight of all them that behold thee. And they shall know thee among the people, shall be astonished at thee. Thou shalt be a terror, and never shalt thou be any more. Thou wilt be encased in ice in the centre of hell. And God gave protection to Adam and Eve so that the breeding and contamination from the fallen angels could not genetically affect the physical form of the children of God. God cast a deep sleep upon Adam, and when he was fast asleep, he took one of his ribs and filled it with flesh. And God blessed the rib which he took from Adam and placed into Eve. And God said, you are now man and woman, and will remain as I intended. Yet because of your iniquities, you will suffer the shadows of the 8 woes, which will be with you and your generations for the rest of your days. And when they heard the voice of the Lord God, Adam and Eve hid themselves from the face of the Lord in a dark, cold cave. And the Lord God called Adam and Eve and said to them, Where art thou? And they said, We heard thy voice in paradise, and we were afraid, and we hid ourselves because we have eaten from the tree of life, and by deceit we have knowledge of evil. And God was sad and angry and cast 8 woes upon Adam and Eve. 1, you have taken from the tree of life which I forbade. You will suffer the shadows from life, death, and rebirth. 2, you have succumbed to lies, deceit, desire, and wantonness for the sake of greed, having all you need, and yet being tempted into lust and fornication. Such will be your future president. 3, your fall from Eden and the contamination thereof will remain with you in purgatory until you find redemption. 4, you are a part of the wall which has caused division, separation, and destruction. War will be your own demise. You will send your own children into wars, and your own children will kill one the other. 5, because you have been given everything which was not enough, you will always be seeking more and never be content. Only desire and wantonness will bring you contentment, and your children will reflect the evil and deceit you have chosen. 6, the shadow of karma is with you, and you will be answerable for all the actions you take. 7, you'll have to work and labour for the rest of your lives, as your need will always covet your satisfaction. For you have contaminated Eden, and within your own contamination you shall exist and be reborn. 8, Eden will now be known as purgatory, and Lucifer will be known as my adversary, Satan. And God cast Adam and Eve out from the paradise of Eden and placed 2 cherubims and a flaming sword turning every way to keep the way of the tree of life, for God had lost faith and trust he had for his children. God threw the fallen angels into the fires from the layers of earth, and hell was created. Lucifer was encased in ice at the centre of hell in the earth. Lilith was filled with anger, hate and rage, for God cursed her with a barren womb, and she became pregnant from Adam. She could not be the bearer of a child from Adam, nor be a mother of any children. God exiled Lilith into the desert upon the moon, where she was changed into an owl, a demonic predator seeking revenge by collecting the souls of babies in the night. She hates women and causes their wombs to lose their seeds by bleeding at each cycle of the moon. She torments women with hysteria, evil moods, as her jealousy is beyond her control. Cain is born to Eve, and his father is Lucifer. Abel is born to Adam and Eve. Cain kills Abel, and the foundation for the division and the institution of war is a cathartic curse upon humanity. Thank you for sharing.